Yeah, I'm Jimmy Jingles. All the matchday 9 results are in for Barclays Premier League this weekend. Liverpool took care of West Bromwich Albion and find themselves level on points with the league leaders. Now, let's talk. Okay, we're back. Welcome to Walk On. All we do here is talk about Liverpool Football Club and anything related. This is my co-host, my good friend, Mr. K. Thanks for being with us today. Liverpool came through at home this weekend and pulled all 3 points against West Brom. Man City, Spurs, Arsenal, Everton and Man United all dropped points, so it was a successful weekend for Liverpool overall. It was a tricky matchup this week against the West Brom team who had just come off taking points from Spurs, but we knew it wasn't going to be easy. What did you see from the match, Kay? Thanks, Jim, and thank you for being here as well. We all knew going in that Liverpool would have at least a little more room to work with than they did against Manchester United. You could see that Tony Pulis was urging his team to move the line up the field at times and have an eye on countering, but there was a moment in the match around the 20th minute when Emre Can sent up a long pass from their own half of the field that I thought, oh no, is this really happening again? Because around the 15th, 16th minute, West Brom's defense looked a lot like the Mourinho bus used against Liverpool in the last game. So Liverpool started to get a little frustrated and Emre Can sent up that long pass into the box that came to nothing. So at that point, the thought crossed my mind that we could have been in for a long night. And if West Brom decided that's the way they were going to do it, it could have very well been a long night. But it turned out that they weren't looking to do that the entire time. They looked at times to move the line up and get the ball up the field. So space opened up for Liverpool's first goal. And after the Mane goal that put them ahead, West Brom were a little reckless and didn't keep their cool. So again, the gates opened and Coutinho put away a tremendous goal. Maybe slightly helped out by the fact that the West Brom defenders didn't cover Coutinho's strong foot. But it was a fantastic finish regardless to beat Ben Foster in such a tight space. Well, things were going so well in the first half, and thank the good gods that Liverpool eventually held on for the win. But in the second half, the story seemed to completely turn, as West Brom almost came back to tie the game. What do you think happened? What changed? Well, Jim, I'm glad you brought that up, because although Liverpool did win the game, and we're all happy about that, tied with the league leaders and all, but really when I came on set, it's really what I felt I needed to talk about. Not that it was all negative. Once again, it's good that Liverpool can pull out close games and rack up points, but the way that second half went makes me a little scared for this team going forward. And I'm going to go a little off script here and abandon the tactical talk for today, because the reason I got into football in the first place was not the tactics or where the manager wants his lines or the different styles of play. The reason we all watch football is the passion. When we see the home fans go absolutely ballistic because of what their team just pulled off and the stadium just shakes, or when Xabi Alonso somehow ran in to rebound his missed penalty back into the net in Istanbul, going above his means and doing something that he never even thought he could do, that's what was missing from Liverpool in the second half. Simply put, after Liverpool took the lead, they definitely took their foot off the pedal. And although they kept going forward again and again and putting on a face like they were going to score more, they really weren't. It was more like, we're going to score more goals instead of, we're going to score another one right now and put these guys away, which is a little worrisome because of the style that Liverpool play. They're a side that after they score goals, they think they can get more goals and bury any team they play. So if they take the lead and their opponents want to get forward and look for an equalizer, Liverpool are more than willing to go back and forth with any team, and they like their chances to score more than their opponents in a back and forth wide open match. The thing is, if you're gonna do that, you better keep your concentration and just put the third and fourth goals in and put it away, because Liverpool yesterday were caught in between. They're not going to manage a game and kill it off by killing time and holding possession. It's just not in their style. And that's what's dangerous about this team. The fact is that Liverpool lost their killer edge in the second half. And I don't know if it's because they had an eye on Tuesday's game against Spurs and maybe took their foot off the metaphorical pedal, but if they were, that wasn't the way to do it. And West Brom themselves made substitutions and were more attack-minded in the second half. And Liverpool had chances, but they just didn't look any kind of desperate to finish them. You could just tell that West Brom were the team with more fire in their hearts, and it showed in the scoreline as well. They were the better side in the second half and outscored Liverpool 1-0. Liverpool almost let West Brom back into that match, but luckily for them, time ran out for West Brom and Liverpool ran away with the points. Well, what would you say could be done about this? Is there anything Jurgen Klopp can do to keep this from costing the team points this season? Because it seems to me that they've been getting away with it so far this year. Last year, giving up leads was much more of a problem, but they almost let Arsenal back into the game at the Emirates after going 3-up. Leicester City had a golden chance to tie the game at 1 at the King Power, and they also let one back to Hull after being 2-0 up. It's true that for the most part, they've gotten away with it so far, except for the Spurs game when they couldn't get a second goal and ended up conceding. But I don't really want them to change too much. Liverpool fans don't want their team to just take a lead and sit on the ball. Let Manchester United and Chelsea do that. Liverpool are a really good team, and they can run riot on teams. This team can be the Barcelona of the Premier League and get 4 or 5 goals a game, but they've just got to concentrate and really keep playing until the game is out of reach. I like the fact that they're an attacking side, even with the lead. It gives me an extra satisfaction, honestly, being a Liverpool fan, but I don't want to beat a dead horse because we did come out with a win and 3 big points that keeps us near the top of the table. The goals from Mane and Coutinho were fantastic, but it's a tight race at the top. Only 1 point separates first from fifth. So Liverpool have been doing great, but they really have to keep the pedal to the metal, and there's very little room for error in a highly competitive league this year. Okay, Kate. I think I pretty much see it the way you do. I also very much enjoy Liverpool's attacking style of football, and it would be a shame to see them become a possession side and just look to kill off games. But sometimes you have to do what you have to do to pull it off any way you can. Is there anything else that stood out to you about the match before we call it a night? Well, Emre Can, who I mentioned earlier, got a second consecutive league start in place of Georginio Wijnaldum, and I thought he looked far better yesterday than he did in the Man United game. He was getting forward much better, running with the ball, looking for passes with his runs, and he had a hand in the first goal. It's very good to see him playing this well. It's not a bad problem to have because this team has a little depth, and with the EFL Cup game against Spurs coming on Tuesday, Jurgen Klopp has some choices available to him should he decide to rotate his squad. Also, another goal conceded on a corner. Klopp calls it luck, just the way it bounced. I'm not really seeing it that way. And obviously Klopp doesn't want to come out in public and say that our team is so short, please attack us through the air. But they have to think of some type of zonal marking scheme to combat this because it really is a problem. But I guess they can get away with it if they score 3 goals a game. But we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. Well, okay, thank you very much. We're experimenting with a new format. The shows will be a little bit shorter, but we'll be back more often to discuss the happenings at Anfield. We'll be back tomorrow to preview Liverpool-Spurs, which will be played at Anfield this Tuesday, and it is the last 16 of the EFL Cup. We will see you then.